Hello everybody, it is Rapid Fire Q&A Tuesday and it's Dr. T here. I'm late again. I should just move this back to 8 o'clock, but trying to accommodate everyone on both sides of the country at the moment. So massive apologies if you have been waiting a little while to jump on, but you know what? We're here, right? And it's Tuesday night. So let's just get stuck into it. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. If you do have any rapid questions, please don't hesitate to pop them into the comment section just here. I just want to give a little bit of a shout out to the Monash IVF crew. They are running their winter fertility retreat and I want to give it a bit of a plug. It's this Sunday. So I'm not sure what the weather's going to be like here in Perth. I'm not sure if you've got other stuff on, but if you want to jump on and join the winter retreat online and have a listen, there are some fantastic presentations. So I'm just going to quickly run through it. You will find the link to the winter fertility retreat up in the bio. In the link tree, you will find a link that takes you through to an event booking site and you can book to come along to this. Now, let me just talk you through it. It's going to start at 12 noon Perth time, okay? So it starts at 2 p.m. East Coast time, but it starts 12 p.m. On Sunday. So you can sit and have a little bit of lunch and have a listen. At 10 past 12, there's going to be some frequently asked fertility questions and the Monash nurses are going to get online and have a chat to those. Then Dr. Patravali is going to be talking about what are the sorts of fertility investigations that are undertaken when someone first presents. I'm going to be on at 12:45, so put that in your diary, 12:45 on the fertility retreat, so 12:45 Perth time, 2:45 East Coast time. I'm going to be talking about lifestyle hacks for the fertility journey. So if you want to get on, I'm going to share 5 hacks with you about what sort of things you can be doing to impact on your fertility. Then we have a dietitian coming on at 1:05 p.m. to talk about nutrition for fertility. Then at 1:25, Dr. Turner is going to be talking about some of the early interventions before going to IVF that you could look at. Professor David Shaker is then at 1:45 going to be talking about what to expect out of an IVF cycle. And then at 2:05, Associate Professor Deirdre Zanderfox, who is our scientific director, is going to be talking about the factors that impact on IVF success rates. 2:25, one of the counsellors is going to be talking about my favourite topic, which is self-compassion during fertility treatment. Then a sexologist, Cassandra Marikas, at 2:40 is going to be talking about navigating pleasure and sex during IVF treatment. And then Dr. Call is going to be talking about complex medical conditions and fertility at 2:55. So this is all Perth time, so add on another 2 hours if you're on the East Coast. Oh gosh, it keeps going. There's another page here. 3:35, holistic approach to fertility. I think it's a naturopath by the name of Carolyn Anderson talking. At 3:50, donor coordinator talking about donor treatment options. And then beautiful Dr. Priya Sivadas talking about or doing a fertility Q&A at 10 past 4 Perth time. So that's a really huge afternoon. So you can get on and get off at any time. It's like a train. But if you would like to be part of the winter fertility retreat and listen to any or all of those presentations, pop into the profile above, the bio above, and you can register your interest to attend online. So you can be anywhere and have a listen to this. So that's really exciting. Now, just on that note, I have had a question from one of the listeners who wanted to know about the impact of caffeine. And this is actually a question I was asked by 2 sets of patients, this same question today. So this is a question that lots of people often ask. You know, should I be cutting out coffee, caffeine completely if I am trying to conceive spontaneously? or if I'm going through fertility treatment and I want to improve my outcomes, or even to reduce my chances of miscarriage. And so I just want to briefly talk to that. Of course, with me, nothing really is ever brief, but until someone else drops a question in the comments section, I'm just going to keep talking. So if you've got a question, please do drop it in the comments section. So the thing about caffeine is that it's a naturally occurring product, right? So it's found in a lot of plants. And the most common place that we find it is in coffee beans. And so we consume it when we have tea and coffee. It's also in some soft drinks as well, so Coca-Cola, for example, and other stimulant drinks. You might know Red Bull, for example. Oh my goodness, if you're drinking that. But it's also found in other things that you might not be aware of, things like cough and cold syrup. So right now, at this time of year, you might be consuming caffeine. Also, some snack foods and dietary supplements contain caffeine as well. And even, as I said, some other medications, so diuretics and other stimulants as well. So it's just really important to understand that you're going to be getting caffeine in multiple different places. And it's the caffeine that is the issue in coffee when it comes to fertility. And that's questionable as to whether or not there really is an issue. So a standard cup of coffee, I'm going to go average because it really does depend on where you are in the world as to how much caffeine is going to be in a coffee. But your standard cup of coffee has around about 100 milligrams of caffeine in it. And if you're having an espresso shot, it's going to be a little bit more concentrated. So it can be anywhere up to 200 milligrams of caffeine in that. Coffee has more caffeine in it than anything else. So really, if we're talking about standard drinks, I'm just going to refer to coffee because it's just easy. So that's just a little bit about coffee and caffeine. Most of the studies are pretty poor quality. In fact, most studies around anything to do with diet, food and drink in the context of fertility are pretty poor. And when I say poor, what they'll often do is do a bit of a survey. How many cups of coffee have you had this week? Or, do a 3-day diet diary, and then the researchers count up how many cups of coffee they've had, and then they guesstimate how much caffeine. So you can already see that it might be fraught with some issues. There's no real randomized control trials where this group of people got coffee and this group of people didn't, and then we watched what happened to the outcomes. There's no real studies like that. So the quality of the studies is always a little bit based on self-reporting, and we know self-reporting, particularly around dietary stuff, is often subject to whether or not you remember if you had. But basically, the consumption of coffee probably in the immediacy of an IVF cycle, for example, so just before or just after an IVF cycle, probably doesn't actually make any impact on your treatment outcomes. There was the suggestion that lifetime intake, so, if you were to report on average how many coffees you have a week over however many years, seemed to be negatively associated with pregnancy rates. But not forgetting, of course, that there's often other things that go in conjunction with drinking coffee. So it could be that the more coffee you're drinking, you're doing that to stay awake at night to study for exams, so your sleep is poorer. And so it could be that the sleep is implicated. Or sometimes people have coffee while they're having a cigarette. And so it could actually be the cigarettes that are implicated. So lots of confounding factors when we're talking about that. But there is this lifetime exposure. Generally speaking, as a result of that, we would encourage you to have less than 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine per day. So that pitches it at about 2 to 3 cups of coffee. So if I said to you, if you were going to say to me, how many coffees can I have a day, if any, I would say, yeah, you can have coffee. Just limit it to one in the morning. Go down to your favorite cafe, get your favorite double shot latte or whatever it is. That'll max you out at 200 milligrams and you're done for the day. So I think that's pretty reasonable. If you're having less than that, fantastic. But also remember where else you might be getting caffeine from. With men, there is one study that has associated coffee with negative negatively with live birth outcomes. So again, probably limiting it's really, really important. Regarding miscarriage, again, it's a dose response thing. So the more coffee that you're having beyond about 300 milligrams a day, so again, 3 shots, then it's more likely to be negatively associated. So an increased rate of miscarriage with increasing amounts of caffeine. But again, these studies had very little control for those confounders. And then on Channel 9 last year, and you can go to my YouTube channel, it should be on there, I did a segment on the impact of caffeine. There was a big study that was published last year, about 1,200 studies that were looked at, and they did show some negative outcomes with coffee with regards to miscarriage, stillbirth rates, low birth weight babies, and also childhood leukemias. So again, it was dose response. So the more coffee, the more likely there was to be these negative outcomes. And so I guess my standard response to anyone when it comes to coffee is probably 1 a day, go for a really good quality, get your double shot in and be done for the day, and you're unlikely to be doing any harm. And what's the bet? If you're talking to me about eliminating caffeine, then you're probably doing all the other health things right. So not smoking, exercising regularly at a moderate intensity and, not 10 times a week, watching your weight, making sure you're getting adequate sleep, and I'm sure getting a wide variety of fruits and vegetables and good quality proteins in your diet. And if you're doing those sorts of things, then all of that is going to improve fertility and pregnancy outcomes. So that's my very long-winded answer to the question, with a very short final summary of just have 1 double shot latte a day and you'll be right. That's pretty much it. Hey, has anybody else asked any questions while I've been rambling on? Anybody? Everybody's listening. Hey, Rach, how you doing? Hey, Pia. Hey, Sandy. No more questions. You're just listening to me rambling on, as I usually do. So I might wrap it up there then, if I don't have anything else. Oh, Amanda, thank you for asking a good question. GnRH agonists always needed prior to IVF for endometriosis? No, is the short answer. The long answer is it depends, and I think it's important to consider every individual in this scenario. It depends on whether you've had surgery or not. It depends on the extent of your disease. I would generally not use GnRH agonists until after I've created some embryos and frozen them, but I have definitely used GnRH agonists. So to those of you out there who are like, what the hell is a GnRH agonist? Something like Zoladex, for example, which really dampens down any residual endometriosis that might be in the pelvis, that might be impacting on inflammation and implantation rates. Equally, there's a study that has looked at substituting in the continuous combined oral contraceptive pill in the same context over a 3 to 6 month period of time. They've never been compared head to head though, so we don't know comparatively speaking, but anything that's going to really dampen down any residual endometriosis. So no is the simple answer, Amanda. I would definitely weigh up the individual scenario, taking into account embryo quality and how many kids they might have, or how many kids they might want, or how many goes they'd had. It's very much an individualized decision, but it's an option for improving implantation rates. But great question. Thanks for asking it. Anyone else? Hey, Claire. Hey, Jade. Lisa. Annie. Andrea. Hello. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Gosh, everyone's just got on. No, my pleasure, Amanda. My pleasure. Any other questions? Any other curiosities? Do you need anything explained? There's got to be something else. We wait a whole week for this. And thank you to those people. Hey, Tara, I hope you're going really well. You're looking fantastic, I might say. What else can I share with you? Oh, just a reminder, just to those who've just hopped on this Sunday, starting at 12 o'clock Perth time, is the Monash Winter Fertility Retreat. It's an online retreat. There are about a dozen presenters. There's some amazing topics, everything from managing your sexual health in fertility to alternative treatments. I'm presenting on lifestyle hacks. I'll be on at 12:45 Perth time, so 2:45 East Coast time. So if you do want to jump on, to the fertility retreat, go up to my bio. There's a link in the link tree and you can register to join. But there are some really amazing presentations, and you never know, one of your questions might be really well answered by one of the professionals who are hopping on. Is there anything else? No one else has got any questions for me. So we've talked tonight about caffeine. We've talked tonight about GnRH agonists. I think I'm losing my voice. I think I'm going to wrap it up for now. Thank you so much to everyone for the amazing support that I have had. I can't wait to be starting practice again in July. I'll be heading over to Pivot, which is part of the Monash IVF group now. They're an amazing team, a beautiful team of nurses, embryologists. Just it's such an amazing environment. I'm really excited to get started in July. Can't wait to be seeing some of you there. And yeah, I guess I'll see you next week. And then I'm going to have a little week off, if that's all right with you guys. For the school holidays. So I'll see you next week for Tuesday Q&A. I'll try not to be late next week. See you later.